Welcome back, Marvel Future Fighters. This is Trippy Cakes here, and what I got for you guys today, I really wanted to do. This is a meta versus personal need for characters. I've been seeing a lot of random people six-starring some of the most poor choices that you can think of. So I'm going to go ahead and give a breakdown. This isn't just for new players, it's for veteran players as well. So the first thing I want to go ahead and say is meta is not always the best choice. I know it may seem like, oh yeah, you have to have Proxima and this and that. That's not always the case. It's all about steps, and that's what a lot of people fail to realize. From doing your regular story missions progresses into later ones and so on and so forth until you're doing world bosses to Shadowlands, etc. First thing that I do want to stress is new characters does not always mean it's a good thing. Crossbones, for example, I did learn my lesson with him. He does have a really great leadership, but aside from that, at the time when I got him, my roster, I could have put that 6-star ticket that I did have and use on him somewhere else entirely, and I would have been ahead of where I was at that point in time. The other thing is that I want to get into is not to feed not to feed materials into certain characters. Real quick, I'm going to flash a little bit of my non-tier 2 characters. Some of the people that aren't fully 6 stars are going to be 6 stars later, but for the most part what you're looking at is my purgatory room, and they are going to stay there. The other thing is I do have 5 people that you for sure should tier 2, whether you're kind of well into your roster or just now getting into it. So for combat, I have Iron Fist. He's not on a paywall. He's really great to have. He does really good damage. He holds his own. And tier 2, he is pretty monstrous. Although we do have some new combat characters that are better than him. But as I said, this is just for like if you haven't got him, they are kind of like my default. Now Sharon Rogers, I would say is of course she's paywall, but she is definitely worth spending that ticket on. She is an essential blast character that doesn't take too much to get into. As far as another blast character that could replace her, maybe Songbird, but you're not going to get anywhere close to this kind of damage. Even at tier 1, I still don't think that she's necessary to tier 2, but I did it because I like power. Speed, Elsa Bloodstone is for me personally, she seems like she does a lot more than Rogue, but I do love Rogue, so that's me being biased. But if you need a speed character that's gonna take you, a good ways, then Elsa Bloodstone is definitely gonna be that character. Especially when you rock a uniform with her like this one, you get that invincibility and survivability early on, and you're like. When you're trying to get things done is a huge factor. I shifted away from survivability and I'm all about damage. Now, Universal, people might disagree with me. What am I saying? People are going to disagree with me on this. Thor, I think, is a really great alternative to Loki. Loki, it was like one of my first characters that I really invested in, but it was hard to get those biometrics. Thor, it pretty much comes with a shit ton of missions for you to farm him out. Now, the last thing that I do want to go ahead and talk about are world bosses. At what point do you say that they're worth it? Well, they're not half as strong as... Well, okay, I'm not going to say they're not half as strong as they used to be. They're still very strong, but there are a hell of a lot more alternatives than going after Corvus, Black Dwarf, Proxima, or even Odin at this point. Now, what I want to go ahead and talk about with this is, basically, to decide whether or not you should invest in a world boss, there are some steps you got to take. One, you got to look at your roster. Do you have, are you going to take the time and farm out a world boss? If your roster is already lacking, do you have enough, characters to 5 out of 5 these guys at least 6 days of the week? That's not including Infinity Thanos, because I do know for some people that is still hard. And then the other thing you have to think is, even if you are at that point where you can 5 out of 5, do you really need him? Right now I have Proxima, Black Dwarf. Um, I have everybody unlocked, of course, but I haven't gone into. I haven't done Corvus. I haven't leveled up Super Giant or the guy whose head looks like a penis. And even Thanos, I got him to 4 stars and I stopped. And the reason I stopped with Thanos is, he, as I said, he's not as strong in comparison to other characters you get now. Now, basically, if you're trying to clear Shadowland, then maybe having one or two of them isn't a bad idea. But having two of them, that's your Dormammu, that's your Odin. You know, that's materials that you can convert over towards Phoenix if you're almost at that point. There's a lot of different things you can do. That's a shit ton of tier twos as well. It's what 3,200 black antimatter to actually it's 4,400 to rank from 1 to 6, and that's a shit ton of gold as well. That's a lot of gold, black antimatter, and you can put all of that black antimatter into tier 2 on some characters because there are a lot of characters that don't get good until tier 2. So that's materials you can have. So instead of one single Black Order character that at this point is just okay, that is several tier 2s that you potentially could have. So you basically have to decide, in your own, take a look at your roster, take a look at what you're trying to get accomplished, whether that's PvP, PvE, and say to yourself, this is however many tier 2s it is. You can do the math. Just divide 4,400 divided by 800. Then you'll have your answer how many different characters you can put that 800 black matter into in tier 2. And say to yourself, so is Proxima worth this many characters for me? Is Black Dwarf worth this many characters to me? And you know something? The way it is with Black Dwarf is there are so many bursty energy type characters, and Black Dwarf is all about getting rid of physical, or taking them on. He's kind of like the opposite of Destroyer. Destroyer is meant to stop energy based characters. Black Dwarf he does a lot of damage and he takes out physical characters. But then you got to think to yourself, Black Dwarf is weak against the types of characters that are dominating this game. That's Doctor Strange. Now you got Phoenix, and then you got Sharon Rogers. That's already 3 characters that Black Dwarf is not going to be able to deal with. So that automatically kicks him out of there. Proxima's damage, okay, her damage is decent. It's pretty good. I won't lie about that. But she is made out of toilet paper. And she has, like, what, 1 iframe, maybe? And then if you don't have iframes, there goes your survivability. Yeah, you could throw out the damage if you manage to, hit them with your 3rd skill, which is the stun. But anyway, basically, these Black Order characters, for me, I've put them on the absolute second to lowest tier of importance to me, and that's right above those people in that purgatory room. I do plan on 6-starring everybody eventually, just to have them, but I have zero care in the world for any of these Black Order characters right now. Not even Thanos, because I have Dormammu. My Odin is pretty much done, and I have, Doctor Strange. I don't need any more. And then, I'm going to have Phoenix here, maxed out pretty soon. Once I unlock her, I'm going to spend the materials to rank her up to 6 stars. But as I said, their worth has gone down significantly other than clearing out Villain Siege. And that is just my personal opinion, and you can take it from a guy who's got over 40 tier 2s that, if I'm up here tier 2 and all these different people, I could have had every single Black Order character a very long time ago, but I just do not see the point in it at all. And I come across them in Alliance Conquest, and I take them out like nothing. So they're really not that big of a deal anymore. It's not how it used to be when they first came out. But that is all personal preference. That's mine. So if you want to take the time and go ahead and get all of these characters, let me just say, without, Odin at his 8,800 cost, let's see, Black Order characters. So every one of them is worth, or every 2 is worth a bigger guy like Odin or something. So let's see, we got Proxima and Corvus. There's your Odin. Then you got Penis Head and Black Dwarf. There's your Dormammu. And then you got is there any more? I think I'm missing someone. I swear I am. Well, anyway, that right there is two heavy hitting characters that you can use in multiple game modes, just right off the bat. And then you got half of, you know, Odin or whoever else you didn't pick, and then you got half of them already done by farming the materials. That's just, come on. You know, as I said, it's personal preference, but at some point in time, you really got to sit down, break down the math, or at least find somebody who's going to do it for you, and that is going to be me. Anyway, I've ranted long enough about the my current standings with these world bosses and when you should try to go after them. So basically what I'm saying is get maybe one of them, max two, absolute maximum two of them, or, you know, just pick Odin and rank him up, leave the others alone. And then, you know, after a while, after you're comfortable with your roster and getting everything done, then by all means, yo, max them out, go crazy. But I'm trying to help you progress here. Anyway, this has been Trippy Cakes. Sorry I did ramble on for a while there at the end, but this is crucial information that I think everybody should have that, you know, people just ain't really paying too much attention to. Anyway, please do like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. Please share. I love having, you know, subscribers and people asking me things and conversations in the comment section, and I will always respond. Unlike a lot of other people, I am always down for a conversation. If you know something I don't know, then by all means throw it at me. If I disagree, then I'll tell you why I think I disagree, but you are entitled to your own opinion. Anyways, this has been Trippy Cakes, and I'm out.